Are you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Hi friends, Krystle here. I am popping into this episode to give you a brief rundown on some exciting opportunities. Leah and I love coming on here week after week to provide for you value on the transits, education, and empowering interviews to help you align to your uniqueness. Before we dive into this next episode, I wanted to share with you many different opportunities to connect and work with us outside of the podcast. The first offer is actually completely free. Yep, you heard that right. We have a completely free guide to help you align to your authority. If you have been having a challenging time to understand how your unique authority works, we've got you covered because we have developed a guide on tips and tricks to honoring your strategy and authority. And you can pick up that free guide down below in our show notes. Now, the next opportunity is also free, so listen up. We know with the state of the world right now how deeply our children are being affected by the 2027 mutation that we are moving towards. So we have decided to put out a free live Zoom class for you to learn how to nurture your child through their design. This also goes for your inner child. So if you don't have a kid, you can still come. We'll be announcing the date soon, so definitely get on our wait list down below in our show notes. And we might have a special opportunity on our next class that we'll be announcing live during our kids' class, so definitely join us for this unique opportunity. Next offer is a manual. We have developed a language manual on the concepts for human design. If you've been struggling with how to read your own chart or you don't understand the key terms in human design, we've got you covered. Go ahead right now and pick up your copy to your user manual to your true self down below. We do have mini classes on the 4 transformations, which you can pick up either the individual class or a bundle for determination, cognition, and also our environments class down below in the show notes. Now, if you're a transit junkie and you've been loving our program episodes and you're interested in knowing what's going on for this year, you will most definitely want to get our 2022 energy forecast that includes all of the major cosmic events and all the major cosmic players of this year through the lens of human design, astrology, and tarot, and you can pick that up down below. Now, last but not least is an opportunity to connect with us one-on-one if you would like a reading. I have had the opportunity to help so many of you have breakthroughs on your design with my Desire, Motivation, and Power View. I really can show each and every one of you where your power is in your design and how to use it in this material world. Go ahead and check out my offers through my website down below in the show notes. And if you would like a tarot reading, definitely check out Leah's website down below as well. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for the love and support for this podcast and also us as individuals. I will stop open-throating right now and go ahead and let you check out this next transformative episode. I'll see you over there, friends, and thank you for being here. Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. I'm Krystle.
And I'm Leah.
And this is the podcast you've been waiting for. Woo!
Woo-hoo!
You know, a lot of you honestly have been waiting for it. You've told us that you search for things like this. A lot of you are finding us through the podcast streaming apps, wherever you're streaming us from. I don't know. We don't know who the majority of you are, but we do love when you guys reach out to us. It's nice. It's nice to hear, see you, or I guess not, we're not really seeing you, but seeing your name and we're having conversations. So
it helps us, for you as an open throat, be seen, and for me as a projector, be recognized.
Yeah. Both being seen in different ways. I come on here week after week. I'm talking to you, and sometimes I feel like we're just talking. We don't know anybody. Like, I don't even realize that there are people listening, and we do see more and more of you finding us. So if you're new here, welcome. This is a podcast for a bunch of weirdos. So if you're in that category, we don't even have to say anything else after that. Like, if we were to just say, this is a podcast for weirdos, you would be like, I'm a weirdo. Yep. And that would be it. But to be a little bit more detailed about it, this is a podcast where, one, we come on here week after week talking about the energy of the week, talking about the energy through the transits, through astrology, and mostly human design, because that's what we do over here. We both do human design. And then Leah does the tarot, and we will be eventually piecing them together more for you guys, because there's definitely a connection between tarot and human design, and obviously astrology. We know there's a connection there as well, right? So that's kind of what we mainly do over here. And then occasionally, if we're feeling spicy, we invite people on. We haven't had an interview in a little while. We were throwing a lot of interviews at you guys for a little bit, and then kind of, I don't know, the summer kind of happened, and here we are. Yeah. There is a potential of a couple people that might be joining us at some point. I don't want to say for sure or when, because I don't know, coordinating schedules, that's really difficult to do.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like that's the most challenging with doing interviews. It's like making sure we're all in alignment with one, that we all want to do this, that we all are able to get on here at the right time that's convenient for every single person, which can be difficult because there's two of us, and then there's usually one of somebody else. And yeah, so, and then we also do education on here, which
I love those ones.
You what?
I love those ones.
I think everybody loves those ones. Might be people's favorites. Whenever we do education, those end up honestly getting the most played out of everything. Is probably education when I look at the statistics, because I like to look at that so I can either cry or
no.
I'm just kidding. I don't usually cry for podcast stuff because I can't see who any of you are. And it takes the personal out for me. And I think that's why this podcast has been doing so well, is because I don't feel I don't really transfer with this stuff.
You just see numbers and you're like, oh, okay, that one did good or better. And these other ones, maybe not as much. What did we talk about? Maybe we could talk more about that thing or in a different way.
And I do like to listen back to our podcast, because sometimes I'm like, my open throat maybe shouldn't have said that. So Leah, you're going to have to cancel that out. And last week, you do apologize. You did hear me saying, cancel this out. Yeah. And Leah accidentally, it got left in.
Editor error.
We don't know, but whatever. That's going to happen again. We do not strive for perfection over here, even the slightest. I'm sure you guys have realized that. And I don't, honestly, should anybody be striving for perfection? I think that's what gets you caught up in the not self when you try to do that stuff. And we all do it. But it's like, don't stay in it. Like when you stay in that, I have to be perfect, or no, that came out a little too raw, I shouldn't put it out. No, actually, people enjoy that shit way more. They want to make it. People want to listen to podcasts where it sounds like someone's in their fucking closet, and they really do need to get better equipment. But those are the real people. Like there's a YouTuber that does human design that I have been trying to get on here, and I'm hoping this is one of the people that we eventually get on. And they have a lot of sound issues where people come for them in the comments, and I'm like, you guys are a bunch of assholes. I was like, this is human design, and they are not claiming to be like some like famous professional YouTuber. So let's give each other a little more grace. I don't feel like we do that enough.
I had a podcast before this one. Well, before I even started human design, and I did like 15-minute episodes, but I used to do one of them. I remember I was sitting out in the snow by my chicken coop.
Yeah, you've talked about that one before.
Yep. And or I used to sit over here. I had a bookshelf with all my stuff on it, and I would sit there on my phone and I would record from my phone. Most of the time I recorded from my phone. I never had any fancy equipment.
Yeah, I need to Dave got a new mic for his work and he's like, you can borrow it. I'm like, okay, you've had it for like 2 months now, David. Can I borrow your new mic?
Sharing is caring.
Eventually, we will be more professional. I think as time goes on, and like, there's also ways to support this podcast if you would like to. We do have, is that down below in the...
Yeah, there should be a link at the bottom of the description in the podcast that says if you'd like to support our podcast for like future endeavors or whatever.
Or that just supporting what we're doing right now. I mean, we're throwing out real content right now to you guys. I take time out of my day to put all this material
together. It's a Saturday
together.
morning right now that we're recording.
We had to change our whole schedule around just for you guys, which we love doing. I'm not, by no means am I trying to tell you guys, like, I don't know how anyone's fucking taking this shit. I have no idea how anyone takes anything I say, but I'm not saying anything on the neg. I'm just saying that we put a lot of effort into this. And if you feel if you're like, you know what, you do put a lot of effort into this, we'd love your support. And the more support that we get, honestly, financially, the more that we can put into better equipment for this and put into our business that we do have. We are going to be, I think we talked about this on the last podcast. We are going to be coming out with some special opportunity for our listeners. It will be a paid opportunity. I'm going to be completely transparent here, but for a small fee, and you will be getting more detail. Like I was just talking to Leah about how I saw, Mars changed gates. I'm like, I'm not fucking talking about that shit. I don't talk about the minor stuff happening on here because we would literally be here all day. But the opportunity that we are going to be offering you guys soon, it will be more detailed. A lot, like I don't usually spit out like gates or channels on here because not everybody that's listening to this understands human design. And so what I try to do is I try to make this as if I was just telling a stranger the weather. Telling a stranger the celestial weather without actually telling you I'm telling you about the transits, because that actually explains what's actually playing out in a more practical sense. And where and because sometimes if you say like a gate or a channel, then that person's like, well, what does that gate mean? And then you're in your head, right? You're in your mind about what that gate or channel is, or, well, I don't understand what gate 2 is. And then you totally miss what I'm saying. So I've found, and I've actually heard feedback from you guys. And also when we used to do Clubhouse, I used to get a lot of messages saying, thank you for just sharing it from a very beginner standpoint. Because I don't know, we don't know who's listening. We don't know how many of you are beginners. We don't know how many of you don't even know what human design is, but you enjoy hearing about what's happening during the week. We really don't know. And I'm an open throat. And I know it's like they tell you to like niche down or like, speak through a certain blah, blah, blah. I have an open throat. I'm not speaking through shit. Okay. I'm just like, I'm trying to talk to a broad audience when we come on here. But what I'm trying to say in a very long, roundabout, open-throated way is that it's going to be more focused and more detailed for this new opportunity. So for you that have been in human design for a long time, or you're interested in diving deeper, we've got something coming. And I think it's going to be great. I think that opportunity is what a lot of people are looking for right now. But again, I'm trying to reach people on this podcast that is really for everyone. It's for beginners and it's also for advanced, because the advanced people will know which gate and channel I'm talking about by the description.
Yeah.
And so, so that's kind of what this podcast is about.
It's basically like a special exclusive episodes that you'll be
Yes.
getting. So you'll have, the way that it looks is if you're subscribed to this content, then you will see all of the special content as well as all of the regular podcast episodes in one stream. If you're not subscribed to it, you'll see it the same way that you do now. Like it's just our program, new moon, full moon, and whatever educational episodes are. But for someone who's in the subscription, then they get all of the extra stuff and it loads in automatically, all in one place. So, and it's super easy. It goes through Spotify.
Am I guessing that you've already looked into this?
I've already looked into it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
See, Leah doesn't always tell me when I'm like, can you look into this? Because she's the back end person. She does all the back end stuff and she tries to make sure all of this stuff is running smoothly. Because as a generator, I'm just all over the fucking place. I need a projector to organize, and that's what she does. But she doesn't always tell me after.
It was just this morning. So it wasn't like, this is new information that I'm getting. Definitely is,
we're just sharing it live here.
We're sharing it live. Here we are. Yeah. So it seems super simple. And I feel like it's going to be a great place for, if you enjoy our stuff and you want to hear more, but you don't want to do, all of the other things
we have
quite yet, then this will be cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. My open.
That's okay.
I was going to say, or if you wanted to join the doorway or the support group, and as you know, now it's closed. This is going to be almost like an extension of that in a way, of this, more so the support group. That's going to be a little like where you're kind of doing your own thing, but you could always connect with us. But we're not going to have, like, for example, our support group, they have a community page to talk. And so it's going to be of a lower price because it's really going to be your own self-pace of when you want to listen to these bonus episodes. And we are going to give you bonus material. Yeah. So there's a few different options with this, and how to use it. And it's really to support you. So it's sort of
like, say you're going to a coffee chat and it's like, some little coffee price to go to like a thing, and you sit there and you get to listen to educational stuff from us, and there's an exchange there, which feels good for us as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We, as defined hearts, and especially the 4426, the channel of surrender, that's asking for money for an exchange. It's like, listen, it's like, excuse me. I like to say bitch in that, in an endearing way. So I'm going to say it now. Listen, bitch, I've got something for you. I've got value here that I know you want. Maybe you don't need it, but you want it, right? So if you do want this value that I have holding in my hand, you're going to have to exchange with me. And that's what the 4426 is really saying. Like, there's actually a potential huge opportunity for both me and Leah right now. We were just talking about it before we got on here, and it's been my dream for a very, very, very long time. I'm like, if this happens, I feel like my life mission is finally complete. Hopefully I do more after that, but I feel like everything that I've been working for is up until this potential moment. And I've lost what I was going with this, but what did I say?
It's a huge potential.
But yeah, I'll carry on with this forever. I'm just going to say it's a huge potential opportunity. We'll definitely notify you guys if and when it happens. It's going to take a while to put everything together.
It's just a baby seed right now.
Yeah. It's just that it's the new moon. It's,
perfect time.
It's this literally is the epitome of what this new moon's about, that this potential opportunity that just like I bumped into like by accident, and more magic keeps unfolding with it as each day goes on. And we will definitely be notifying you if and when it's 100% happening. And it's going to take a lot of work and time between all of us to put this together. So it's not something that would be even happening till probably like late spring. But I want it to happen so bad. So if you guys can just send some good vibes over here for this potential opportunity, because it could potentially involve you too. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm trying to stay in the goodness because there's been a lot of bullshit this week. this last week for everybody.
It's felt pretty chaotic.
I mean, that's putting it lightly.
Yeah. Didn't I take notes for what was happening this week? Yeah. I always forget, like when we say this all the time, like we do this whole program and then it leaves us. And then we each both still have to remember and look back.
There was a lot of intense energy this week. I mean, we had the new moon, right?
Yeah.
And then we had Jupiter went retrograde, and then we had, which I'm going to talk about that actually just happened between, it's the energy is between Sunday and Monday with that Uranus North Node Mars conjunction, right? So we're in the right now, as you guys, if you're listening to this on Monday, we're in the thick of that, which, you know, Uranus is kind of a wild card. That planet it's like, you think I'm over here, but I'm over here now, bitch. And I just fucked all your shit up in between there. You didn't even know I was coming. And that's Uranus. So, but Uranus can also, it's kind of like the planet of shock almost, right? It's like like the 51 if we were to put those two together. It's here to shock you, and sometimes shock is beautiful. Sometimes we're surprised in a very beautiful way. So, and there's a lot happening. We have Lionsgate portal that just opened up. I'll briefly talk about that. It's going to reach its peak on the 8th, so we'll do something about that next week. I try to stay in what's happening now. And also, by the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm going to work out after this. So I have my headband on. I'm not and last week, obviously I was not in my full Krystle, whatever. I don't even know what to call myself. And I'm just wearing a sports bra. So enjoy the show. Okay. Anyways, I guess we should dive into this because Leah's got to go.
Yeah. Well, since you're already on the top, but you're already on the topic. So might as well keep rolling with it.
We might as well just start with what I want to say. So yesterday, like I said, and also today, because the energy is still running through. Thick of it started yesterday and really entered in today. So we kick off with this big Mars Uranus Taurus conjunction, right? North Node conjunction that I did provide information if you guys did purchase the 2022 energy forecast. So if you did, I highly recommend picking it up if you have not, because I said some really prolific, and also Leah did too, things in there. And if you did purchase, I would encourage you to go and listen to that, because we talk about that more in detail on there. So right now we have the driver, the North Node, with this conjunction, encouraging us to take action towards our fate, right? Like I said, the nodes just change places, right? So this is really important right now during this nodal placement to be following our designs and really listening to our designs, following our strategy and authority is going to be the most important thing you can do right now. And also, I do have a few spots still open for August for readings. And I'm desire motivation, bitches. I mean, if there's ever a person that you want doing a reading for you right now, I also have a Define G Center, right? So if you need help piecing dots together, piecing direction right now, where you're going in life, I also have a North-South Node potential reading that is probably my most popular reading aside from my basic one. And that's where we really talk about your purpose. And I also talk about that through the lens of Kabbalah too. You're not going to get any of this type of reading from anybody else. I give it, you know how I give you guys the Hebrew letters for the big moon cycles, the new moon and the full moon now in our email. I give you what yours is for your nodal placements. And then you get to use that for the rest of your fucking life if you choose. So it's kind of a big reading. So if you're interested in that, you can, and you know, this is an investment into you and yourself. Like I said, the 4426 is not really giving you what you need. It's giving you what you fucking want. But in the end, it is kind of what you need, right? Because you always leave with value from us. If you're listening to us right now, or if you've gotten a reading from me before, or you're in our membership, there's value there, right? So feel free to DM me on IG if you have any questions about that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be booked by the next week or so, and I'll probably be closing my books for August at that point. So if you're looking to get a reading, which is a really opportune time to get one right now, just feel free to reach out to me. So like I said, we're in the thick of the Lionsgate portal right now. That's really showering down on us downloads. And I'll wait to speak more about this during the peak next week. Like I said, on August 8th is when we're in the peak of this energy. And it was actually 2 years ago on that day, on August 8th, that I launched my website. Because bitch, I got an open throat, and I'm like, I'm launching this shit during Leo season, during a huge portal. And I don't know, I feel like I need to go look up that design again, because I haven't looked at it in a while. But I feel like I'm here to be seen. And I feel like that's why I have an open throat, is healing that part of me. And I felt launching my website and my business during that time was a really opportune time for me. So I will also be putting out a special thing for my audience over on Instagram on August 8th. So if you're not following me on Instagram, highly encourage you to do that, because I'm not going to be giving it to anybody else but those people that started with me and that have been following me. So if you're interested in whatever that opportunity is going to be, head over to my Instagram, Journey Through HD, and follow me. And we also kick off the week still at the beginning of the program that we started over the weekend, which we are focusing on what we remember. And it's speaking from a place of I remember, because this is through expression this week that we will be focusing our attention on our experiences. And as I'm sure a lot of you know, because we are all in this together, we've been going through a lot of experiences. Individually and collectively. We do have a lot of stories to tell. I mean, the fucking pandemic, wait 30 more years when we're going to be talking about that story, right? So, and like the 2027 transition, I mean, so many things. And also 2027 class is coming out soon. If you come to our free class for kids, our free kids class, which is going to be August 7th, right, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, definitely go to our show notes down below and get on the wait list for our free kids class, because there's going to, you're getting a free class. And whether you have a child or not, this is really also for your inner child, the way you probably needed to be supported as a child. So honestly, this class is for everyone, whether you have children or not, but especially if you do have children or grandchildren or cousins, nieces, nephews, whatever, definitely join us, because it's going to be chock full of really good things about, nurturing your child or nurturing your inner child that you're not going to get anywhere else. And it's fucking free. So why the fuck not? And then we'll be giving you a special opportunity. Honestly, I'm going to tell you guys right here for the first time, for the 2027 class. So, and it's only going to be free live. After that, we are going to be reconstructing it into a paid offer. So, and that's okay. And that's cool too. It'll still be at a reasonable price. So you can pick that up if you can't join us live, but that's, I'm just going to plug that because I realize it's coming up and probably should share it with you in case maybe this is the first time you're hearing about it. So anyways, where was I? So again, so there's a lot of stories to tell right now. It will be about sharing this week, or at least contemplating, what do you remember? And what stories do you need to tell? So what are we being grounded in this week? What's going to be easier for us to spot? What's going to be easier for us to actually materialize, right? Because the earth is really how manifestation takes place, through grounding us, through being able to see the practicalness in this energy and this frequency, right? So we are being grounded in half of the emotional channel that we're all going to be experiencing this week. And we're being grounded in support through our sensitivities. Everyone's going to be super fucking sensitive this week. So if you've been feeling like people have been sensitive, just wait. I'm also just waiting because Leah has half of this. And whenever this comes for her hardcore, I'm always like, okay, well, I'm not going to bother her this week. I'm like, Krystle, don't do your normal things when this happens. So we're all going to be emotional this week, no matter what. And we've got one more, and this is going to be a super sensitive week. So this is pressurizing our emotions coming for all of us. And I like to call this channel, and actually I got a lot of feedback when I said this about this channel one time. This is the crybaby channel. Okay, let's be fucking real. We're real over here. This is, and because people have come and told me that have this channel that it's true. This is the crybaby channel, and people seem to like that. So I'm not going to stop calling it that. You give me good feedback, I'm like, okay, I'm sticking with that. That my third line's like, oh, that worked. Okay. So if you feel like crying this week, let it the fuck out. I mean, I don't know if you're going to have control over it, to be honest. And tears are cleansing. I mean, think about it. It's washing away through that salt water in your eyes, experiences that you've gone through, currently going through, or will go through. So this is going to be a cleansing and very cathartic week. And a lot of lessons might be learned as well. So get prepared for some hard conversations. I'm like, oh, I don't like, my open solar plexus doesn't like that I just said that. Some hard conversations and truth and stories that might need to be expressed. So late on Monday, early on Sunday. Early on Tuesday. Excuse me. I'm like, what? We get a sacral surge moving towards our identity and really pushing us towards our commitments, really allowing our physical body to be in the right place at the right time. And like I said last week, we are now on the roof with the new nodes, right? And in our identity center. So there is just an extra emphasis here with this. So we are really being driven by the magnetic monopole here. And I want to also stress, I'm plugging my 4426 is out, guys. So just fucking deal. Okay. Just fucking deal. I'm plugging our language manual because honestly, it's been a very long time since we have. So we have a language manual, and honestly, we don't talk about it enough. So if you have been struggling with the language with human design, as you guys know, it can be very confusing. And Leah and I really broke it down in this manual in a very simple way. And it can also help you read your chart. Everything's broken down piece by piece. There's a lot of descriptions. There's a lot of graphics so that you can pull up your chart and follow along. So if you're listening to us week after week and we throw some weird words around, like maybe you don't know what the magnetic monopole is, highly suggest picking up our language manual to your true self. It breaks everything down in a practical way, and you'll be understanding the basics of the system in no time. And it's only like 30 something bucks. It's very, very, very fucking cheap. There's no reason that if you're really struggling with the language behind this, and there's a lot of information out there on the internet that's not 100% correct. And as I will continue to tell you guys, all of the information that I get is from source material. I'll translate it through my filter, obviously, but I'm getting it from source material. And I think that it's important that if you are getting information from anybody else, that they are telling you where they got it from. So there's a little plug right there. I'm not going to stop. I don't know if that's my last one. Anyways, so yeah, we're like during this nodal time, this new background frequency that we're in right now, your soul is driving this vehicle right now. Like it's in the driver's seat. It's activated, right? It's turned on, and we're honestly going to need, this is a good time to be watching yourself, watching your mannerism, watching the direction that you've been going in each day, watching where you do actually want to go. Like how I just talked about earlier, that a dream that I've had for honestly my entire life might actually finally come true during this nodal placement. And I'm like, well, fuck, And that's the thing, is things that you've been waiting to do for a very long time might actually become a reality right now. So just think about that. You don't need to try to make sense of it right now. Just let it marinate. So here, where are we? So Thursday, we get some mental and throat pressure, having us sift through the bullshit. Okay. So, maybe some of those stories you've been hearing about this week, maybe some of them have been fabricated. Maybe you can spot some falsehoods, maybe some patterns, and this will be also connected through our relationships. So I'm like interested in this sense for this week to just be watching social media, like being like my little Snoopy 1-3 self. And I'm going to be reading all the fucking comments. As you guys know that have been listening to this for a while, you guys know I love reading people's comments because I'm a 1-3 and I'm a nosy fucking bitch. And I'm not going to deny it. And it's true. It's 100% true. My husband will be the first to tell you that I'm a nosy fucking bitch, and there's no stopping it because it's part of my design. So a good week to read comments. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm ready for what people have to say. So Friday we get a new program focusing on our leadership qualities. There's a lot we're in Leo season, right? So there's a lot of leadership energy floating around. So leadership qualities of yourself or someone else's. Where can you apply logical direction for another or for yourself right now? Might be a question to ask yourself. And we are being grounded in empathy, which we all fucking need right now, right? We're being grounded in empathy in our identity. Can we be better listeners? Because let's face it, most of us are not. I have this gate. If you guys didn't know, I was a hairstylist and makeup artist for 14 years. If ever you needed it, it's a requirement. Honestly, I think it's almost like a requirement to have this gate. Whether you're in like, when you're any sense of service industry, whether it be hair and makeup or whether it be like bartending, like anything where someone's going to tell you people tell me their darkest secrets. And sometimes like while I'm standing in the line at the grocery store, and I used to wonder why people always told me like their secrets. And I'm like, and then when I found out I had this gate, I was like, oh, life just makes so much more sense now. So if you catch yourself sharing things that you wouldn't normally share, or if you're listening to stuff that you don't think you would normally be hearing from other people, that's what's happening here. So can you be a lending ear to someone in need? I'm a really, really, really good listener. I mean, I have this gate. I also have an open throat. So I'm really good at seeing people for who they are and their truth. So can you be that person for somebody this week that might need it? And we do have the North Node lining up with the moon. I'm like, there's just so much perfect synergy happening right now with also chaos that it's like, can you sift through like that bullshit to like really get to the goods? So we do have the North Node lining up with the moon on Saturday, providing our driver a little more direction. This is also a very prosperous channel. So I'm like, okay, like my defined hearts is like, I'm ready for some money. I'm ready for it. But so this is a very prosperous channel, and abundance might be calling your name during this time, or a lot of times it comes after. I've talked about this. When I speak about these gates and channels, when they're active, a lot of times they haven't reached, haven't really entered into the material world until after it's left. So I always like to pay attention to some major transits the week after, or sometimes even a couple weeks after. I mean, energy's like, there's no time does not exist on the other side. So when I say like it's happening during this time, I honestly would tell you to leave that as a window of time, instead of saying, oh, it's definitely happening on this day. Because usually you don't really see the fullness of it until after it's left. So I just want to be very clear with that. I've been following transits for a very long time now. So this is something that a pattern that I've realized. I do have gate 44. So that's about it. And I also want to note that I don't share every single thing on here. Sometimes we put stuff in our email. So I definitely would get on our email list And sometimes I put it over on Instagram. So, I mean, I'm trying to, you know, I've learned with having the 21, I have the 21 that is controlling the resources, right? And then the 45 is directing the resources. I don't have that gate, obviously, because I have an open throat. But my son does, and he has the full channel. And I have been connecting with a lot of people that also have the other side recently. And so I really am starting to understand the 45. And if there's anything that the 45 is trying to show us, is that one, don't be afraid to tell people where you're at in other places. Like I used to have this like fear of like, well, they already heard me, so why should I repeat myself? One, I'm an open throat. Nobody fucking is listening to me the first time. That's number one, Krystle. And then number two, maybe they missed it. Or maybe they don't realize that there's more information somewhere else. So why don't you fucking tell them? So I want to tell you right now that I don't tell you every single thing on this podcast, because if I did, you probably wouldn't be following me anywhere else. Right. So I want to let you know that I tell you more depth over on Instagram. This is just almost like the outline of what's happening. And then I'll say gates over there. And like I said, when we do start our next endeavor with the bonus material that we'll be providing for you guys in a little more depth, obviously we'll be sharing more intimate details on the gates and channels on those episodes. So I feel like I plugged myself and us enough at this point, and I'm sorry that this turned into a very 4426 episode. But if you do have the 4426, this is what it looks like. And I'm just telling you how I can support you more. I feel like that's what the 4426 is really doing, right? It's like, you know what? I actually have some resources and goods and material over here. And if you want it, exchange with me and I'll provide for you.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I have 11 people in my house right now.
I haven't heard anything.
Well, I was muted, so.
Oh, that's right. So
if things start to happen, actually, Garrett was running the boat motor next to my office while I was muted too. And I was like,
Garrett.
So I'm like sweating because it's hot in here. I have like crystals in my hands and I've got 11 people in the house. Half of them are emotionals. And I'm like, okay, Leah, you can do this. So I'm just gonna.
Sweating too.
Yep, sweaty. So anyway, if you hear noises, that's just my life in my house. Right. So
we forgive
it's all
you
good
this time. Just kidding.
You don't forgive me, or you do forgive me?
So we forgive you this time.
Oh, this time, you know.
Just kidding.
I thought about going upstairs and like hiding in my closet somewhere, like in a totally other space, but then it would have required me to bring all of my things there.
That's what I thought last week when I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just do it from my bed since I really couldn't sit up. But then I was like, well, then that's going to require a lot more work, Krystle.
Right.
No,
yeah. And then you're out of your routine and things aren't in the right place. So I also probably had too much coffee, but anyway.
Me too. It's okay.
Okay. So the first card I'm going to pull, that was a lot of juicy information, by the way. So I'm excited and a little bit nervous for this week. So be prepared. Our helmets are on standby. Okay. So I got the Knight of Cups. And I do interpret this card as kind of a moving forward, a forward kind of energy. You see how he is facing in one direction. The horse is ready to, he's got his head down. He's going into battle sort of. And the knight is about newness. And on the bottom of the card, and I'll show the YouTube people, you'll see two different types of horizons here. So it's going from things are pretty calm. I'm going away from the calm things, and we already know we're heading into a little bit of craziness. So I feel like this is just a confirmation of what you've been saying is, we might be stepping through a little bit of sludge and trudging through things, but we can do this together and know that once we climb that mountain, once we get to the other side of that hill, you're going to be able to see out, okay, what did I learn from these experiences? What is coming up for me? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to leave behind me? And how can I go forward into this new perspective of my life, knowing that I've gotten through all of this stuff? And, you know, you do have armor. We do have a lot of armor. We put it on ourselves through childhood. We try and protect ourselves, but it could be a case too, where maybe you need to let a little bit of that armor down, allow yourself to feel, those emotional waves that are going to be working through this week. How can you allow that to flow? There is water on this card too, and there's fish on the fabric of this knight's clothing. And I feel like that's a lot of like fluidity there. Let those emotions flow, let them come through, let the anger, whatever it is that you're feeling, let that through for yourself. And, recognize how those patterns are coming up for you, and maybe take some notes, like do some journaling. How do I feel today? You could do like an emotional journal for the week, whatever that feels like for you. That could be helpful. Okay, so that's that one. And this one is the Work Your Light deck. Oh, more water and mountains. So this one is called Lemuria. Can't say it. Creating Heaven on Earth, and it's happening. So this one is Lemuria, or Mu, M-U, is one of the Earth's lost lands, where heaven really was a place on Earth, a time before we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. In Lemuria, life worked in harmony. All beings were seen as equal, and we were deeply reverent on Mother Earth. We know that a mosquito was no worse than us, and the sun no better. Perhaps you too believe that heaven can really be a place on Earth. Perhaps you are part of the transition team who, at a soul level, were devoted to creating this kind of harmony on the planet now. Thank you for wanting to do this work. It is easy to get overwhelmed by the state of affairs in the planet right now. This seems very accurate. I don't know when this was written, but holy. But you are being encouraged to keep holding the clear vision of the future. It is closer than you think. It really is. You may be guided to hold the frequency of Lemuria in your own community, your family, your workplace, or even within yourself. Know that it is possible. And while at times it may feel like you are alone, you truly are not. I keep getting chills. Like I've been getting chills this entire time. There are hundreds and thousands of you who hold the codes to this ancient lost land, and even Lemuria crystals that hold the codes of remembering are beginning to rise all over the planet. Keep doing what you're doing, and remember, the only way to heal the world is to heal ourselves first. I love that. Love that a lot. I feel like that applies not just for this week, but like in general. Like take that with you.
Oh, I mean, it's what we all need to be striving for.
Mm-hmm.
First card's beautiful too, but that card is like,
Ooh.
and how you were talking about that, we are no better than a mosquito. And that's the thing. And I think with being a vessel of love, if I could speak freely, that's the frequency that I actually hold within my design.
Yeah.
And I also have my unconscious sun. I really advise you to go look up what the sign of your unconscious sun is, because those are the people you are actually attracting the most of. I have a lot of Libras in my life, and that is actually why I birthed the Libra. I purposefully, if you didn't know, planned my Libra because he's in my incarnation cross.
Mm-hmm.
And so Libra is all about balance and harmony, right? And I feel like that's a huge thing. Like in I naturally, because whatever's in your unconscious and your unconscious design on your body side, you're naturally doing. And it's really what you need to be leaning into.
Right.
And so I naturally strive for harmony and equality. And I know, and this is something that we don't all really realize. And I realized that at a very young age that most people didn't see life this way. And that I'm like, I do believe I'm from like Lemuria. That if you are alive, if you have life force energy running through you, even the trees, right? Even the grass. And I've said this, we are no better than a blade of grass. I've said this before. And if we could realize, and this is real power view right here, this is real fucking power view. And this is what I have. I am power view. It's realizing that there's actually no hierarchy. We create it. We create the hierarchy. It's really that we're all on fucking top. all of us, even the mosquitoes, as much as I want to fucking swat them every time they fucking, bite me and it hurt and it itches like a fucking bitch. I'm like, you're here to show me, a little discomfort. We should not all be comfortable. But I mean, if you're alive, you chose discomfort, right?
Right.
You chose to go through some shit. And so we do need the mosquitoes to shake us up a little bit, So I encourage all of you, as you're listening to this, to see how you can be more in that balance of harmony. And balance is not even, it's more harmony. It's not even, and it's balance. It's very hard to really kind of which side, how do you get to the middle? But can you find harmony? Can you find harmony in discomfort? Can you realize that we are all created equal? If you're alive and breathing in any capacity, or you're on this earth and you're, you have that life force energy running through you are just as worthy to take up space as any other fucking being that there is. And I think that's one thing I've been learning through Saturn retrograde, and contemplating a lot of things. I had a lot of epiphanies around being too much. And because I think it's my conscious Saturn is in 34. I'm now blanking off the top of my head, but I realized I've been thinking I don't have the power this whole time, when actually I fucking do. Because I deserve to take up just as much space as any other individual, no matter how much they look like they're better than me, quote unquote. They're not. They're actually not.
Yeah. And
no one's better than you either that's listening to this. So I guess that's where we'll end today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of juice in this episode.
So juicy.
I love it. I hope your palate has been quenched and you're no longer thirsty. I mean, maybe you're you're always thirsty for us, right? But maybe you feel a little bit more at ease, or maybe you're a little nervous. You can be in both. You can honestly be in both. You can feel at ease and still feel nervous at the same time. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit to be in two different places at one time.
Yeah.
Right. But just allow yourself to be this week. And if you loved this episode, if you're like, wow, this was a really powerful episode, please share it with someone you know. Help us build this community that we're trying to build right now. I mean, it'll be actually August, end of August, early September will be when we started this podcast.
Yeah.
It'll be a year. That's crazy.
Anniversary.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have August might be a bonus month for a lot of you guys, because we might have something for you guys end of August, early September too, now that I'm thinking about it. I love giving back. I really do.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it and we'll see what we can do for you guys, because a lot of you have been supporting us for a very long time, and it's not unnoticed over here. I just want to let you know it is not unnoticed. So we really do appreciate you guys. Share this with someone you love or don't love and they need it maybe. And I guess we'll see you over on the next one.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Krystle and I are really here as defined hearts to provide value to you with our unique insights. If you have found any of this episode valuable to you, we ask that you share with a friend, tag us with a highlight on Instagram, and write us a review so we can reach more people. Human design and astrology are tools to guide us toward our transformation. You are a unique and beautiful being, and we encourage you to let that light inside of you shine bright. See you in the next episode, friends.